topic of the day, and this is PR. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is receiving $13 billion in aid. This is it's like Donald Trump is like, you damned if you do, you damned if you do. They're criticizing him for giving 13 billion. And I'm talking about the left, right? Not even people on the right. At least so far, people on the left have criticizing him. Why are you giving them now? It's like they have a certain time also. It's like, if you give it to them before, it will still be a problem. Like, why are you giving it to them now? Is the question that they are ticked off with now. That, wow, thank God we getting 13 billion, that they're giving $13 billion to Puerto Rico, but they're like, no, but why are you giving it to them now? That's the question. This is a story from NPR. Let's read a little bit, and you're gonna see why the 13 billions are coming now. We gonna get into the story here. Puerto Rico is being promised nearly 13 billion. That's 13 followed by 3 pairs of zeros. That's a lot of money. A lot. Puerto Rico is being promised nearly, and let's get this straight right off the back. We're gonna be talking about two different things here. When I mention Puerto Rico, don't even, my that thought not even pass through your mind that I'm talking about my fellow brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico. We're talking about the government, the local government in Puerto Rico, and some of the things that they have done that has put them in the wrong for the way they have gotten the aid and done it. Bad administration of the money. As a matter of fact, some of the aid that was collected to send to Puerto Rico, maybe a month ago, there was still some left in a storage. Still, believe it or not. Okay, so let's see here. Puerto Rico is being promised nearly 13 billion in federal disasters funding to repair its electrical and education infrastructure 3 years after Hurricane Maria's devastation and 6 weeks before the presidential election. The Federal Emergency Management Agency plans to award 2 separate grants to help rebuild Puerto Rico's electrical grid system and educational facilities, the White House announced Friday. This is a great news, and even more great news actually. They're gonna try to bring back pharmaceuticals to Puerto Rico. I used to have I still have a friend who's a chemical engineer, that when he started being a chemical engineer, he used to work for a company called Pfizer. Obviously, you guys know pharmaceuticals. They used to have, I don't know if it was a plant or what exactly, or a factory in Puerto Rico, and he used to live in Puerto Rico 2 weeks and travel back to the States. And his employment was in Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico, hopefully this pharmaceuticals, and I also saw a picture the other day of I forgot who, somebody in the administration in Trump's cabinet touring Puerto Rico, whether they're gonna talking about bringing back pharmaceuticals to PR. All right, so let's see here. The Federal Emergency Management Agency plans to award 2 separate grants. I read that today's grant announcement represents some of the largest awards in FEMA's history for a single disaster recovery grant, and demonstrate the federal government's continuing commitment to help rebuild the territory and support the citizens of Puerto Rico and their recovery goals, the White House states. Let me keep reading here. I want to no. Okay, this is what Trump says regarding the delay, but we're gonna get into a little bit more specific. When asked why he had announced the plans 46 days before the election, and not in the aftermath of the devastating storm 3 years ago, President Trump blamed Democrats and said, "We've been working on it for a long time." We're gonna get a little bit more of a clue here. Look what it says here. Congress originally allocated the aid in 2018, but it had been held up as local and federal governments wrangled over how much repairs will cost and what kind of controls will be placed on the spending. This is the problem that happens in Puerto Rico, and we all witnessed it. In the aftermath of Maria, they were given some money to contract an electrical company to fix the grid, right? Everybody knows of the debacles and the craziness that happened regarding the electrical grid in Puerto Rico. The government, again, remember what I'm saying, the government, not the people, the government of Puerto Rico contracted a company that had 2 employees. 2 employees. I think it was called Whitewater something. I forget the name now, but they contracted a company that had 2 employees to fix the grid of Puerto Rico. Again, they're not doing their homework. They're mouth spending. They're doing this. They're doing that. I mean, and it's crazy. And they needed to put some I guess supervision of the funds, because obviously there's also allegations of corruption in the government, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they need to put the supervision on the funds. That way they make sure that the money is being done properly, is being distributed properly and being used properly, and no corruption. This is a lot of money, guys. It's 13 followed by 9 zeros. That's a lot of money. You need to make sure that um the money's gonna be spent where it's gonna be spent. I mean, it's just that simple, man.